Welcome to the award-winning RotoWire Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by DraftKings Pick6 and Vivid Seats, and our free trial, RotoWire.com/try. You get a free sneak peek behind the paywall. Pull back the curtain. It is Friday, December 6th. Alex Barutha, Shannon McEwen, Ken K-Train Kreitz.
All aboard.
Well, we had Jonathan Kuminga score 33 points last night after I have been demanding everyone drop him everywhere and regretted how high I was during draft season. But Draymond and Curry were out. They got a win over the Rockets. I was pretty surprised about that. Pretty bad loss for the Rockets, who also lost to Sacramento the other night. Like I mentioned, no Curry, no Draymond in this game. Past 4 games for Kuminga, he's averaging 21 points on 47% shooting, 4 rebounds, 2 dimes, and a stock and a half. Shannon, are you buying back in on Jonathan Kuminga, or is this a flash in the pan?
Most likely just a flash, like you mentioned. No Curry, no Draymond. The Warriors were extremely shorthanded last night. I am buying back in like 12-team leagues, yes. Shallower formats, not necessarily. I need to see more. I need to see what his role is in the rotation once this team's healthy. And it sounds like most players are going to be back in the rotation for Friday night's game.
Yeah, I think with Kuminga, I don't really trust him to give me anything more than points. So if you don't need points in your category league, there's no point. I just really don't think there's a point. But hey, if you're last in points or something, pick him up.
Yeah, the stocks won't be there. He's a bad rebounder. It's not. Yeah, it's just a points only play.
Speaking of flashes in the pan, Dosunmu, who is 31% rostered in Yahoo, first career triple-double last night versus the Wemby-less Spurs. Had 27 points. I think that's 10 rebounds, 11 assists, or the other way around. Yeah. It doesn't matter that much. It's one stat. Joker last night had his 139th triple-double last night in the loss to the Cavaliers and passed Magic Johnson for third on the all-time list. Ken, any thoughts on Dosunmu or the Joker?
I would take the Joker of those
in a redraft. I would take.
I was about to call Dosunmu a complete flash in the pan on this, but he's actually been playing well, and it would be interesting if they keep Patrick Williams out of that starting lineup. It's not like the Bulls the last, 3 years they've been forcing Williams as a starter. It's not like that's worked for the Bulls. Why not try going small, see if more of a speed game works, because you're just spinning your tires now in Chicago.
Yeah, they've been...
Yeah, it's possible. Shannon. It's possible. I mean, they did invest heavily in Patrick Williams in the offseason. Dosunmu's been great. He has started 7 straight games for him with Williams out. Last night, though, no Kobe White. So that's why Dosunmu had to pick up some extra, pick up the slack a little bit, and that led to the triple-double. I would not expect that on a regular basis, but as alluded to, he's been playing well for a few weeks now.
All right, Ken, you want to take us to New Orleans? Might have lost Ken's internet here. It appears we have.
All for the best.
Tech issues?
Not anymore. Hello, Ken.
It might be on Ken's end. I will take this news update as Ken drops out of the podcast. He will be back shortly, I assume. Brandon Ingram and Herb Jones returned last night for the Pelicans, joining DeJounte Murray. The Pels, they beat the Kevin Durant-less Suns on Thursday last night, 126-124. Brandon Ingram with 29, 7 and 3 with 3 stocks. Herb Jones had 7 boards, 4 steals, and a block. It was basically a game-saving block at the end of the game, plus 13 on the plus-minus. Shannon, thinking about now the Pels are getting more healthy. It's not the Brandon Boston, Javonte Green show. How are you evaluating this team and the guys on this team?
Well, I think there's a few different guys. I mean, one, seeing Herb Jones return, seeing him play 32 minutes after missing 18 games, and we will discuss Jones more later. That's super encouraging for fantasy purposes. I think he's an ad right now. There are some formats where he is slightly underowned. Brandon Ingram, McCollum, DeJounte Murray, we know what to expect from those three. So the real guy I'm curious about is Yves Missi, and seeing how he does now that the team's getting healthy. Are they going to revert back to Jones being the starting center like they did at the start of the season, or once Zion gets back? Or are they going to keep Jones in the starting lineup? You've also got Trey Murphy. Like there's a lot of pieces to mix in. Trey Murphy still had 34 points off the bench and was productive. Scored 19 on 7 of 11 shooting. But you've got Herb Jones, Missi, Trey Murphy, and then Zion once he comes back. It'll be interesting to see what they do with those 4 players and how they mix up their front court rotation.
I would not be too worried about Missi's minutes or his role until Zion comes back, because I think the whole point of the small ball Trey Murphy or Herb Jones at center was that they have Zion there and the guys they brought in. So I'm cool hanging on to Missi and not panic dropping him or anything like that. Ken, do we got you? Can you hear us?
I can hear you wonderfully. I don't know, Zion, when does Zion really return? And will he ever stay healthy? Missi, hold on to Missi, please.
Shannon, why don't you take us to some news out of the great state of Wisconsin?
Yes, we are finally there, folks. Bucks fans rejoice. Anyone who's been stashing them on the bench, it's time to rejoice. Chris Middleton will make his season debut for the Milwaukee Bucks on Friday night. Finally, I get to activate him from the IR. I think I have him stashed on my 3 most important leagues. So happy to activate him. Expecting a slow rollout for Middleton, though. Limited minutes. They'll most likely sit him on 1 of 2 back-to-backs for the foreseeable future. So I don't expect him to be the Middleton of old immediately. A couple weeks to shake off the rust and get his legs underneath him. But he is going to be a welcome return to fantasy rosters everywhere.
Well, and slow might be the operative word. We don't know how much burst he has left after these multiple injuries. Alex, what's your concern as a Bucks fan?
He can't defend anymore. It's been years since he could actually defend. He was one of those guys where it's like he could only really defend well when he was in his athletic prime for a year and a half. I think if you are in fantasy, I don't know what Doc Rivers is going to do here. I mean, it's just, Gary Trent, AJ Green, Andre Jackson. These guys have been sort of a carousel at the shooting guard position, and they're the weak points of the team. And we'll see how those minutes shake out between those guys when Middleton is back. I mean, even Middleton coming back and playing 20 minutes is going to shake things up. But most of those guys aren't rostered in fantasy anyway, so I think this is just more so a positive for the people who have been stashing Middleton rather than a negative for anybody else in fantasy leagues.
Shannon, you found a disturbing statistic out of Minnesota that I wanted to nudge you to share with our audience.
It was just an interesting little statistical nugget. Through the first 21 games of the regular season, Julius Randle, power forward for Minnesota, has just 1 block. How is it possible that a power forward in the NBA has only 1 block? I promise you take the 10 shortest guys in the league, and if they've played at least 15 minutes per game, they have more blocks than that.
Payton Pritchard has more blocks than Julius Randle.
Randall's never been a big blocks guy, typically getting about last couple seasons about 1 every 4 games, but that would quintuple his output so far this season. 1 block, just truly amazing. Truly amazing.
So on pace for 4 blocks for the season.
Yes. Chris Paul has 5 blocks. Just checked it out. The Basketball Reference page actually froze because I think it knew what I was up to. Looks like we have a question in the chat, Ken, that we can.
Yes, I'm from Jay Sizzle. He traded Tyus Jones and Terry Rozier in a 10-team, 9-category head-to-head league. Gentlemen, what are your thoughts on Jay Sizzle's deal here?
I assume you mean you traded Tyus Jones for Terry Rozier.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Sorry.
I think I would actually prefer to have the Tyus Jones side of this trade.
You're that down. He's playing poorly for Miami, Rozier.
I actually do kind of believe in like a Rozier. I think he could start playing better. But as of right now, I mean, his scoring isn't any more stable or reliable than Tyus Jones, who's not known as a scorer. And he's not really getting the defensive stats either. I understand why Rozier might have more upside. And so if it's a pure upside trade, I get that. You know, if Jimmy Butler gets hurt, Tyler Hero gets hurt, maybe more so Hero. But I think I would actually rather have Jones.
Yeah,
go ahead, Sean.
It's Jones, and it's not even close right now. Jones is the side I want. Scary Terry needs multiple injuries, I believe, to be productive for Miami. We're 18 to 20 games into the season for most of these teams, if not more. And Rozier has not performed well for Miami, even when they have players missing time. When Butler sits, I'll happily plug in a discounted Scary Terry into my DFS lineups. And you know what it earns me? Nothing. Definitely not winning me any cash.
That was a bitter man. All right, let's now question about rookie centers. Let's move on. Between Clingan and Edey, who has more upside for the rest of the season, gentlemen?
I would say Edey, or sorry, the opposite of that. I would say Clingan. I was typing in Edey into my computer, and my fingers and my mouth is just not all working at the same time. I would rather have Clingan. I know he's not going to get as many minutes consistently, but if we're having an upside discussion, if either of these guys saw the same amount of minutes, I think Clingan would be much better in fantasy. And you just got to hope that Ayton gets traded or shut down, or Rob Williams gets traded or something of the like.
He'll get hurt.
Portland.
Rob will get hurt. Don't worry.
Yeah. He's hurt right now. He has a concussion.
Yeah.
What do you think, Shannon?
It's very close right now on a per game basis for those two rookie centers. They're both right around 130. That's where their rank is right now. They both obviously, aren't playing a ton of minutes so far. Edey's hurt. Obviously, they're both hurt right now, but both under 20 minutes per game in the games they have played. I actually side slightly more with Edey just because this team was still giving him consistent minutes even when as they got healthy. I think they want to give him a longer look. Clingan needs, like you mentioned, Alex, Clingan needs something to happen with Robert Williams, with Ayton, to really open up the playing time. If you told me they're both guaranteed 25 minutes, okay, I'm going Clingan. I'm fine there. But right now, I think Edey has the clear path to have those 22 to 24 minutes per game throughout the year upon his return.
Okay, one last question from Kingo Crazy. Should I pick up Scoot Henderson over Missi, who we just discussed?
I mean, only if you need assists. I think this is just a pure category play. If you're in a category league, this is just what category do you need? Assists or rebounds, blocks. If you're in a points league, I don't think it. I would not. If I had Missi on my team, I would not drop him for Scoot. I'll put it that way.
Feels like this could wait a few weeks, right, Shannon?
Yeah, I would say if you're in a league where the player depth pool is deciding between like Missi or Scoot, ride Eves for right now. He's the one getting more minutes. He's the one being more productive. There's once Zion returns and Missi possibly loses his starting spot or plays less minutes, you're probably going to have a comparable player to Scoot available where you can make a swap at that time.
All right. Thanks, gentlemen. And thank you, fans, for those questions. Hey, before we get into our waiver wire targets, Alex, could you give us a quick word from our good friends at Vivid Seats?
Finally, the NBA is back and court is in session. And to start the season, Vivid Seats is offering fans $20 off their first $200 ticket purchase, because that's like 100 76ers home games, actually. That's a pretty good deal. Because nothing beats seeing your favorite team hooping it up in front of thousands of cheering fans. Every slam dunk, every fast break, and every buzzer beater of your favorite team live and in person. And because Vivid Seats is the only leading ticket company with a rewards program, You can earn perks on every purchase, like amazing deals and unrivaled annual rewards. That's hard to say, annual rewards. All season long. Plus, with a 100% buyer guarantee, you can be sure your ticket will be as legit as your love for the game. Visit vividseats.com or download the app today and use promo code RotoWire for $20 off your first $200 purchase. That's promo code ROTOWIRE for $20 off your first minimum $200 ticket purchase. Download the app or visit vividseats.com. Vivid Seats, experience it live.
That's promo code RotoWire.
Okay, the waiver wire. It's time, gentlemen. As always, we do 3 waiver wire suggestions. The last one is for deep leagues. As far as game count next week, the NBA Cup, clear out. NBA Cup is going ISO. The teams are basically split between having 2 games and 1 game this week. So not a great streaming week. A good opportunity for you to make some longer term pickups. I'm just going to dive right in. Marcus Smart for the Memphis Grizzlies, 28% rostered. He got dropped in a ton of leagues the other day on Yahoo when he scored 0 points.
If you drop have that happen.
If you drop Marcus Smart because he had 0 points, you were not familiar with Marcus Smart's game. He immediately bounced back last night. 18 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, and 2 steals. When playing at least 20 minutes this season, he's averaging 11 points and 37% from the field, 4.8 assists, 2.9 rebounds, and 3.1 stocks. But if you are rostering Marcus Smart, you are doing so for his assists, his steals, and occasionally he will hit 4 threes somehow.
You're going to wish you didn't take all those threes.
Yes.
You're going to winch a few of those.
I know he's been injured, and I know he had a bad game. He should be more than 28% rostered.
Agreed, Alex. All right. Well, before I get into my first pick, fans, if you like our videos, please hit like and subscribe below. We would greatly appreciate it. All right. I'm going to Boston for my first waiver wire pick. Admittedly, I'm cheating a little. I'm going Payton Pritchard, fast PP of the Boston Celtics, rostered in 53% of Yahoo leagues and 55% of ESPN. So that's a little higher than we're really allowed to recommend. I'm sorry. But goodness gracious, Pickpocket PP is averaging 23.4 points, 5.2 rebounds, and 3.2 dimes over his last 5 games, all off the bench, all with great shooting percentages. Boston has 2 games next week, not 1. Fast PP is instant offense. Boston wants him to jack crazy threes. They love it. The favorite part for me is he's rebounding despite a very generous 6'1" height listing. Got some key rebounds against Shannon's Pistons the other night. Anyway, Boston's happy to rest their starters. They want to cruise into the playoffs. Anytime anybody's got a little complaint, they're going to rest them and let PP get crazy minutes. PP is younger than everybody else in the starting lineup for the Celtics. They love giving Pritchard run. Pick up Payton Pritchard.
Gross. All right. So my first waiver wire recommendation of the week, we already touched on a little bit. Herb Jones, forward for the New Orleans Pelicans. He's heavily rostered on Yahoo, but for some odd reason, only 11% rostered on ESPN, which is just a mind-blowing stat. He returned from an 18-game absence due to a shoulder injury. Very encouraging that he started over Trey Murphy. A little bit mind-boggling as well, because Trey Murphy's a straight-up stud. I know Herb Jones is good at defense, but Trey's just on another level, in my opinion. But back to Herb Jones. Started in the front court for New Orleans, finished with 12.7 boards, 5 dimes, 2 threes, 4 steals, and 1 block in 32 minutes. He's going to be a top 100 player for moving forward. If you are in an ESPN league, check to see if Herb Jones is available and pick him up.
That is good advice, Shannon. Please roster Herb Jones. Another please roster, although he had a bad game the other night, Vasilije Micic for the Charlotte Hornets, 12% roster in Yahoo. Made me look bad. I think I suggested him, and then he had 5 points, 2 assists in 19 minutes 2 games ago against the 76ers. But then he came back with a vengeance, coming off 14 points and 12 dimes the other night. LaMelo, Trey Mann are essentially going to be out probably at least another week. I could see that being longer, honestly. There was some KJ Simpson buzz, deep leagues, check that out. But yeah, Vasilije Micic for the vast majority of fantasy managers.
And Micic had a nice run last year when they had injuries in the backcourt. So he's gotten big minutes before for Charlotte, and not going to be big on stocks, but every team can always use a boost in dimes off the waiver wire.
Where are you going, Ken?
I'm going to Washington, and star rookie Alex Sarr, who is surprisingly rostered in 40% of Yahoo and only 24% of ESPN leagues. Washington has 2 games next week, and like assists, blocks are very valuable. Sarr is almost 2 per game. He's been a lock to start for the Wizards. Last 6 games, 13 points, 7.5 boards, and here's the combo I love. 1.5 blocks a game and 1.7 threes per game. I love getting threes and triples from the same player. Alex Sarr, they're going to play him like crazy in Washington. They're trying to get this very young core as much experience as possible. So Sarr and Washington's 2 games next week, I like as a streaming option.
All right. Viewer Don Sicario asked a question. Herb Jones or Sarr, 12 categorical 10-team league, it sounds like. I'm going to lean Herb Jones. Sarr's shooting percentage is just so dreadful and will take you down in a categorical league that Herb Jones, the difference in blocks per game, rebounds, isn't enough with the field goal percentage of Sarr draining your entire team. So give me Herb Jones.
Well, it's going to be interesting just in general to see how does this Pelicans rotation work out when or if they're ever healthy. And we got sample 1 game here, even without Zion. Interesting to play. But yeah, probably depends a lot on what you need between those 2.
Why don't you keep it rolling, Shannon, with your waiver wire suggestion?
All right. We are going to Philadelphia. Kelly Oubre, forward for the Sixers, 29% rostered on Yahoo, 33% on ESPN. He has been a top 50 player over the past week with averages of 14.3 points, 4 rebounds, 3.2 trays, 1.7 steals, and 32 minutes per game, all starts. Oubre started 6 games in a row after a 3-game stint coming off the bench. It looks like Philly's going to give him a longer leash than expected a couple weeks ago in the starting lineup. He should certainly be rostered in more than 30% of leagues, given his current role with the squad. Even if he ends up moving back to the bench later, you'll probably be able to find a comparable replacement on your waiver wire at that time. But roll with Oubre while he's starting.
The steals have been really nice lately. A steal in 9 straight games. So Oubre can be a little one-dimensional, but when he's locked in on defense, he's giving you something else too. My final long shot #sicko league 20-team flyer Day'Ron Sharpe for the Brooklyn Nets. Yeah, we're going there. This is a once-a-year recommendation.
This is a damning recommendation for Nick Claxton, who should be playing way better. It's crazy he's not playing better.
Yeah, so some of this is about Claxton. I mean, he can't string together 2 good games in a row. I mean, we've gotten more questions about Claxton than almost any other player on any of these podcasts we do this season. So Claxton, not only has he not been playing well, he's sitting all the time due to a back problem. He started the year with the hamstring problem. Those are often connected. He's already also been ejected twice this season. It's just not going well. Noah Clowney still out. He could be back next week. We'll see, but they don't exactly play the same position. Clowney can also play the 4. Sharpe, in his first 2 games back from a hamstring injury, averaged 5.5 points, 4 rebounds, 1.5 assists, and 1.5 stocks in 17 minutes per 36 for his career. 15 points, 13 boards, 3 assists, and about 3 stocks. He's not going to play 36 minutes. Even if Claxton and Clowney fell off the face of the earth, Day'Ron Sharpe would still play 26 minutes. But if you're in a really deep league and you need rebounds, Sharpe is worth considering.
Interesting. Thank you, Alex. My long shot could also be my boring pick of the week. Royce O'Neale for your Phoenix Suns, rostered in 18% of Yahoo, 8% of ESPN. Suns have 2 games next week. Kevin Durant is out at least a week with an ankle issue. Feels like maybe the Suns already rushed him back. I don't think they'd do that again. O'Neale started last night, Thursday night, with Durant out. Very nice game of 19 points, 7 boards, 2 dimes, and 2 steals. Look, O'Neale is a classic 3-and-D skills guy. He's shooting over 52% his last 6 games, so that's a bit of a heater for him. And in those last 6, he's had over 12 points, 5.3 rebounds, 3.3 made threes, and a steal and a half per game. I'm not sure you hold O'Neale all season, but I think the next 2 weeks, Royce O'Neale is going to give you some very nice streaming options.
Absolutely. My final recommendation for the week is Guerschon Yabusele for the Philadelphia 76ers. He's been starting at center for the Sixers. He's actually made 6 consecutive starts. Past 2 starts have been the best. He's averaging 11 points, 9.5 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, and 1 3-pointer as well in 35 minutes per. We'll have to see what happens. Right now, Andre Drummond's been out. Joel Embiid's out. Joel Embiid, he's already been ruled out for Friday. Drummond is now questionable for Friday. Yabusele does have 1 or 2 starts alongside Drummond, so he can slide down to the 4 and play that position. It's actually probably more of his natural position than center. Given his height disadvantage, 6'8", isn't a traditional
the
center.
Dancing bear, baby, the dancing bear.
He can do a little bit of everything. We saw it in the Olympics this past summer. He's a solid player. He definitely deserves to be in the NBA. And while he's playing 30-plus minutes, I think he deserves to be on most 12 and 14-team rosters in fantasy leagues.
Vive la France!
And I can't believe you had Yabusele and the Giannis stopper Semi Ojeleye on one team at the same time back in 2018.
A dream combo of names for me to butcher pod after pod.
All right, guys, we are going to move into our DraftKings Pick6/DFS segment. But first, a word from our sponsor.
Here at RotoWire, we're proud to be partnered up with DraftKings Pick6 this NBA season. Think your team will score more than 100 points tonight? How about your favorite point guard making more than 4 3-pointers? Check out DraftKings Pick6, the newest way to play fantasy basketball and win cash with DraftKings. Here's how it works. All you got to do is pick 2 to 6 players of the same sport and choose if they'll have more or less of a given stat. So for hoops, we're talking points, assists, rebounds, etc. Lock in those picks. Compete against opponents for your shot at huge cash prizes. Go download the new DraftKings Pick6 app right now and use our code ROTOPICK, ROTOPICK. That's code ROTOPICK for new Pick6 customers. Play $5, get $50 in Pick6 credits guaranteed. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick6 credits that expire in 30 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
All right. Pick6 time, ladies and gentlemen. It is a 7-game slate tonight. Highest over-under, 248 from the Indiana Pacers and the Chicago Bulls, who would not know defense if it hit them in the face. Bulls are actually giving up 125 per 48 minutes over the past 10. My God. Wonder if that has anything to do
with
with
the Wizards. Second worst of the Wizards, I think. I don't know.
Was Patrick Williams holding this team together? My first pick six suggestion is Trae Young. I like his over on the 11.5 assists against the Lakers tonight. His assists have fluctuated a little bit the past 3 games, but one of those games was a pretty decisive win over Milwaukee. But he's still averaging 12 dimes on the year. The Lakers are a disaster on defense. Truly awful. There was that clip that went viral the other night. It's not the reason I'm making this pick. I'm not like, I saw a viral clip, so I'm going to. But against the Miami Heat, where they just like completely gave up on defense. And yeah, Trae Young, his shooting has not been well this season, but he is racking up the dime. So I like the over 11.5.
And Trae Young's just the kind of player that abuses the Lakers' slowness. They're a slow team. Trae Young is quick. There you
go. Shannon, where's the first place your eyes went on this slate?
Yeah, as you mentioned, that Indiana-Chicago game, I'm good pounding the over on almost all of those players. A couple suggestions that are not tied to that game, though. Julius Randle, we know he cannot block shots, but what he can do is get you points, rebounds, and assists. Tonight, his PRA is 29.5. I fully expect him to top that. He's playing the Golden State team that's going to be on the second end of a back-to-back. Randle is well above 30 PRA per game on the season. As long as that game's not a blowout and he plays over 30 minutes, he should hit that rather easily. Another outlier game to target would be Malik Monk. Malik Monk has been on an absolute scorcher for the Sacramento Kings. He plays Sacramento tonight. I like pretty much any of his overs. Give me the more on anything for Monk. He's at 21.5 for points plus assists, 25.5 for PRA, points, rebounds, and assists. Over the past, let's see here. Monk's started 3 straight games. Sounds like he's going to be locked into the starting lineup moving forward for the Kings. But his heavy production goes back the past 5 games. Over that stretch, he is averaging 23 points, 4.2 rebounds, and 8.2 assists. That's good for 35 PRA. And again, his PRA for tonight is 25.5. I'm hitting that Monk more as much as possible.
Yeah, I mean, Monk, they finally started him. It's I think the right decision, even though they're scoring off the bench is not as good anymore, but you gotta deal with that. I will say some spots. I don't have plays immediately for this, but I will note that the Magic and the Sixers are both really high up on the list in terms of forcing turnovers. So I could see that game being sloppy. I know Pick6 offers turnover props. They only have 3 of them up right now when I'm looking at this, but they're both. I mean, Magic force 18 turnovers a game. 76ers force 17 turnovers a game. So that is something you could look at for some of the higher turnover prone players in those games. What else you got for us, Shannon?
Yeah, for Pick6 specifically, I mean, I also going back to, or you had mentioned the Atlanta LA game as well. Jalen Johnson's another one that I love. He's been kind of the centerpiece of Atlanta's offense this season, having an incredible year, averaging yes, he has, averaging 20 points, 10 rebounds, 5.5 assists per game, as well as 2.5 stocks. Just a true monster for fantasy purposes. I think he's going to have a big game against the Lakers tonight. So I like his more picks for every category. And then moving on to DFS, some of these names we already mentioned. Malik Monk, he's on a scorcher. He's basically been a walking 45 fantasy points. So he's at 7,000 tonight against San Antonio. I like that quite a bit. Sticking with the Atlanta LA game, D'Angelo Russell hasn't been great. He's had his struggles this season, but he is $5,400 on FanDuel tonight, or I'm sorry, on DraftKings tonight, and he should be starting again. We'll see. Austin Reeves has already been ruled out for Friday night's game. We'll have to see if the Lakers switch up their starting lineup somehow. Maybe Russell doesn't start. If he starts, I like him tonight. Same with Connect. Dyson Daniels on the Atlanta side, Jalen Johnson on the Atlanta side. And then the Indiana-Chicago game, I'm having a hard time not slotting Halliburton into my lineup. 8,300. He's been a little bit up and down this year. Has had his struggles, but this matchup is far too enticing. And then if you're looking for a possible discount option, we'll have to see what happens with Nembhard and some of the other players for the Pacers. But here's a name. I was amazed this guy existed, but Johnny Furphy, Furphy, for the Pacers. He started the second half of the most recent game on Wednesday night against Brooklyn, started over Quentin Jackson. We'll have to see if Furphy is named the starter, and a lot of that's going to be dependent on Nembhard's status for tonight. It's currently questionable. If Furphy gets the start, though, he's only 3,300 on DraftKings, and he'll be an interesting cheap flyer.
Ken, get back in here. I want to talk to you about Bucks Celtics tonight. We gotta give the people what they want. I feel disrespected because Tatum and Porzingis and Horford are questionable tonight, and you're 8-point favorites against. Come on,
that is odd. And Tatum missed their last game in that win over the Pistons. When I was promoting Pritchard as a free agent pickup, it's because they're alternating rest a bunch of guys. Holiday's back, which is nice, but he's also had a knee issue where he missed a couple games. So 8 points, and you guys are on a heater, right? Like it seems a little odd, though. I think the Celtics do lead the NBA in differential. We'll see, but yeah, I would just stay away from that spread. Because who knows who's playing for Boston? At least, wait and see if Tatum's in. Wait and see. I don't know. But yeah, if you're forcing me, I'd probably take the Bucks on those points.
Unbelievable. In Chris Middleton's return, I mean, we're getting our fourth All-Star back.
Will Middleton have his walker when he's playing, or is he allowed to bring his cane on the court? Or
we have 2 Defensive Player of the Years candidates, Lopez and oh man,
and deep Milwaukee bench, Alex. Ooh, Connaughton coming at you.
I don't.
He doesn't play anymore. He's out of the rotation. He doesn't play.
Is he really? Oh,
yeah, he doesn't play.
Because of
brutal.
Is Beauchamp getting all those minutes?
Brutal for dads everywhere. No, Beauchamp is also bad and not in the rotation. It's like Andre Jackson, DeLon Wright, and
Jackson. Yeah.
AJ Green. Wright. I mean, AJ Green is like kind of. He's the man.
He can shoot.
He's the man.
He's a great shooter.
Good he's a pretty solid defender too.
Well,
Shannon's given for people who are listening. Shannon's making a face. Face of someone who has never seen AJ Green play and has never seen AJ Green, who looks like he's on steroids. Actually, if you've never seen him,
I've seen Green play. I'm trying to give you that same face.
It's fine. I've seen AJ Green play plenty. The Celtics, I would argue you should not be offended, Alex, because the Celtics were one of the 2 or 3 best teams ever last season. And there's a very good chance that this year, now that K-pop's back and healthy, that they're even better this year. So good luck. Good luck, Bucks.
Who's going to guard D White, baby? Got to shut down D White.
AJ Green, are you not? You don't even listen to what I say. All right, Ken. It's time for your old man rant.
Okay, and I'm sorry to do this, fellas, but I got to get you off the screen to show off this fabulous mug that coworker DJ Trainer bought for me. Can everyone see that nicely? World's greatest farter. Oh, I mean father. Thank you, DJ. Arg! You know what I hate? Gas. Farts used to be funny. There might be a tense moment and somebody would sneak out a quick butt chirp and everyone would giggle. Or maybe you'd treat the wife with a bit of a Dutch oven and she'd reply with a playful slap. But at this age, you can't trust air biscuits. It could be a shart. You might need to actually go to the can because this bun blast might cause a laundry issue. I'm on heart medication, which leads to these thunderous late-night booty bombs. After a lengthy visit to the local brewery, I'm up at 4 a.m., 5 a.m., and 6 a.m. just to thunderdome the gut bucket. Dr. Longfinger warned me that my new meds might back things up. He wasn't kidding. I'm a walking ass tuba. Arrgh! Welcome back, gentlemen.
Hey, can you give me the number for Dr. Longfinger, please?
Oh my God, that was something else. Yeah, I feel like
call from HR.
I feel like Robert Sacre when Kobe just went ISO. He's like, "Get out of here! I'm doing this myself." I don't even know.
We can
this. I think this is up there with your Coach Darko Rajakovic impression. That.
I hope you found that amusing. I was struggling this morning coming up with Old Man Rant. And I'm like, well, what's really, really bothering me? You know, that is.
Thank you to our sponsors. DraftKings Pick6 and Vivid Seats. We appreciate you. And also, if you want more of Ken's content, you can go behind the paywall at RotoWire.com/try. We're clearing out again, Ken. You have the floor.
Class it up a little. Let's go to New Orleans, where CJ McCollum had this to say about Shannon's guy, Herb Jones, returning from his injury last night, Thursday. Jones, he's a winner. We've been missing him, and a lot of the guys. Slowly, everyone is coming back, but he's a guy that does everything, all the little things. He plays defense. He talks. He hit a big three in the corner. He gets us stops, and that's what we need. Thank you, CJ. Attention passengers. This 3-car fantasy train wreck has hit the end of the line.